Hi guys, it's Ben from Forward English. I'm here today to talk about something that often causes confusion between non-native speakers, and that is state verbs and active verbs, often known as dynamic verbs. Today I'm going to show you A, how we use it, and B, how to tell the difference between a state verb and an active verb, or a dynamic verb, as we often call it. In English, we have two types of verbs. We have state verbs and the active verbs. Let's take a look at the active, or often called dynamic verbs. What are these? Active or dynamic verbs are verbs which you can control. They're also verbs which you can stop and start when you want. We often use these active verbs with activities. State verbs, on the other hand, are a little bit different. State verbs are actions that are now and often last forever. State verbs are actions which you have no control over. State verbs are often senses such as smell, thought, sight, sound. Let's have a look at some examples of some state verbs. We have love, hate, hear, understand, and know. We also have some simple active or dynamic verbs such as play, talk, run, eat, and drink. But what happens if we don't have a list like this? How can we tell the difference between a state verb and an active verb? Well, quite simple. Let's have a look. You need to have a look whether you can control this verb when you want. So let's take a very simple one. Let's take a look at play. We can see here Tom is kicking a ball in the field. He's playing in the field. Can Tom start playing when he wants and stop playing when he wants? Yes, he can stop and start, stop and start. That's how we can tell it's an active or dynamic verb. Now that we understand how active or dynamic verb works, let's have a look at a state verb. State verbs are a little bit different to active verbs. Active verbs, we saw, we can stop and start when we want. Let's have a look at this one. Hate. I hate sushi. If you hate sushi, can you love sushi? No, you cannot. You either hate something now and forever, or you love something now and forever. It's something that you can't change and stop and start. You have no control over this type of verb. Therefore, hate is a state verb. Why is this important that we know the difference between a state verb and an active verb? Well, unfortunately, depending on the type of verb that we have, depends on the type of grammar that we are allowed to use in English. Now, for state verbs, we can only use state verbs in simple tenses, such as the present simple, the past simple, the past perfect simple, the future simple, and the present perfect simple. If we were to use a state verb in the continuous tense, it would sound strange and unnatural for a native English speaker. Why is this? Nobody really knows. It just is, and we have to follow this rule when we're speaking. For active or dynamic verbs, you are welcome to use them in the simple tenses and, of course, the continuous tenses. We can use them in present perfect continuous, past continuous, past perfect continuous, future continuous, and the present perfect continuous. If you don't know all of these verb tenses yet, that's okay, because I'm sure we'll make a video about each of these in the near future. So guys, now that you know the difference between a state verb and an active verb, you also know how to use it and how to tell the difference between them when you're speaking. Remember to practice as often as you can to become more natural. I hope this helps you, And remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. This is Forward English. Have a great week.